Schaefer. I'm the Executive Director of Schuylkill River Greenways, and we are so glad that you are here to celebrate with us the celebration of this opening of this bridge. Now you'll note that I am calling it a celebration and not a ribbon cutting, and that is because this project's not finished. That's very purposeful. We're going to do a ribbon cutting when it's finished, but this is a 3-phase project. And we're done with phase 1 and phase 2, which you're going to hear a little bit about. And you're also going to hear a little bit about what phase 3 involves and when you might expect that one to be done. So before we get to all of that, I'm going to do a few introductions, and I'm going to do some recognitions and some acknowledgments. And then we will hear from some of our very, very special guests today. And then we're going to hear all about the bridge. So first group I want to introduce you to is our staff. Because a project like this is not just our trail staff, it is our whole staff. Everybody has a piece of it, and we all work. We've been working for years on this, so I'd like to show you all who that staff is. Tim Fenchel is our Deputy Director. Raise your hand, Tim, wherever you are. Tim. Mika Patterson is our Communications Director. Michelle Thompson is our bean counter finance director. She's the money lady. We love Michelle. Alex Chandera is our office manager. And Mike Szilagyi is with our trail staff. And Julia Hurl is our trails director. We also have a new team member, Jan Kramer, who is helping us out with development, and Noah Phillips, who is running our Take It Outdoors sister. Noah, raise your hand. I think I got all of our staff members. Next, I would like to introduce you to our board members who are here because, but for them, none of this could happen. They keep us on the straight and narrow and keep us building this trail. And with us from our board today, we have John Wolf. Raise your hand, John. Carl Raring, Mary Timpany, Mandy Fitzpatrick, Ira Walton, Rob Coleman, Jan Miller. Is there anybody else from the board that snuck in? And that's a lot of board members to come all this way on a work day. So thank you for being here. It shows you a little bit about our board.
I didn't come all that far.
We still like you.
We also have a very, very special guest who is spent about 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 10 years working on this bridge, and that is Bob Falwell, who is actually no longer with us because all he's doing right now is riding the trails because he is now retired. So we're so glad he has come here to celebrate with us today. I would like to make sure that we thank our funders for this project because without the funders, we do not get any money and these things don't happen. First of all, the phase 1, the restoration, the environmental restoration, and phase 2 was primarily funded through federal surface and mine money that came through the Bureau of Abandoned Mine Reclamation, which is a really strange way to fund a trail. But that is an environmental program that needs an economic development component, and this is the economic development component. We also received funding from the William Penn Foundation, from Schuylkill County, who we just love and is one of our strongest commissioners, and finally from DCNR, who is giving us a significant portion of the funding for phase 3. And from DCNR today we have 2 representatives, Lauren Possinger, raise your hand, and Drew Gilchrist, who is also on our board. Okay, next, I would like to make sure we thank our partners and our friends at Auburn Borough and at West Brunswick Township because their cooperation through and their patience has been really, really critical to the success of this project. And Schuylkill Headwaters, which literally spearheaded the entire thing. Unfortunately, Bill Reichert could not be here today, but he has been kind of the king of the project since the beginning. Now, we have a lot of bigwigs with us today, and I want to introduce them all to you, the fancy smancy people who we are so thrilled to have partner with us. And I'm going to ask them each to say very, very short words if they can. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce to you Senator Dave Argall, who was here, is here, there we go. And
Is here?
if you don't mind, just say a quick word.
Big wig, fancy schmancy? I don't know what that means, but two good things. One is I was thrilled when my hearing in Harrisburg got canceled today, so I could be here. And then my chief of staff gave truly probably the best advice she's given me all week, and she said, meet me at my house with a bicycle at 11 o'clock. And so we've enjoyed this. I was very impressed not only by the scope of this project and how we're gradually, painfully linking communities which should be linked, but the fact that when I got to the parking lot in Kernsville and it was full, that's what we want to see. So congratulations to all of you on turning this into a reality.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Next, we have the entire Board of Commissioners for Schuylkill County here. Gary Hess and Boots Hetherington and George Halkovich. And if you guys all want to say a quick word, come on up. You got to talk about how much you love the trail and how much you love funding the trail.
Just briefly, just great to be here as an engineer. My background, this is a very impressive structure. And like Dave just said, linking communities together, that's what it's all about. We need more time for recreation, more place to do it, get our kids away from the computer and away from video games and come out and enjoy the natural resources we have. So, George?
Well, when we talk about county commissioners, one of the things that Elaine doesn't want to tell you is she was a township supervisor down Rounder Township, and she was so impressed with this group of commissioners, you became a commissioner down in Delaware County. Is that correct? God love you. We had a board meeting, so I think we all walked from our board meeting this morning to get down here. But again, it's a matter of what is our big item besides agriculture is tourism, and it's the outdoors. And the pandemic spoke very strongly of how important it is for us to have our natural resources and to be able to get out, because what happens, it's families that do this together. And that's the strength of what this is. So again, I know there's much more to come with what you're planning for Schuylkill County. We thank you, and I'll turn it over to Gary.
Again, I'm going to say what one of my colleagues who isn't with us anymore, and that was Frank Stoudemire, said this is a great day in Schuylkill County, and also linking Berks County. I remember a number of years ago when we were over on that side of the bridge saying, how is this going to get accomplished? And the drive and persistence of this board and the trail agency that does all of this is never give up. And again, this will never give up till you link all the way through, from again Philadelphia all the way to the headwaters of the Schuylkill. And we're very, very proud of being the headwaters from Schuylkill County and making this happen. So again, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks.
We also have two representatives from Congressman Muser's office. Tom and Sean, would you like to say a word?
Thank you, Elaine. Wasn't prepared to make any remarks, but as Gary has said, a great day for Schuylkill County, a great day for Berks County. It is certainly a work in progress, as Elaine stated before, 3 phases, 10 years to get to where you're at, a long time. A project in the works, definitely a team effort, so on behalf of Congressman Dan Muser, we congratulate you on a job well done and look forward to the project moving forward.
Thank you so much. And our friends from DCNR, Lauren, would you like to say a few words? Or you don't have to, but we'd love to hear from you.
Come on, Lauren.
Sure, why not?
Thanks. So I'm Lauren Possinger, speaking on behalf of DCNR. Thanks so much, Elaine. And we're really, really happy to be here today and to keep supporting SRGA and to support trail development here in Pennsylvania. Does anybody know which state has the most rail trail miles in Pennsylvania, in the U.S.? I gave it away.
Alaska.
That's right. We're #1, and believe you me, we're going to add this quarter mile right here onto our total. So thanks for asking me up, Elaine.
Thank you.
And looking forward to the ribbon cutting for the rest of it.
Honestly, DCNR has done so much all across the state to get trails in. Thank you. One last acknowledgement before we start to learn about the trail, and that is to Jean and Ken Porter. Jean, if you want to raise your hand wherever you are.
Hi,
I don't
Jeannie.
think Ken is here, but this project, again, would not have happened without their generosity and their support. We had some issues getting over in this direction, and they were so incredibly generous and kind and community spirited and community minded, and donated an easement across their land so that we can come from this bridge and get to River Road so that we can connect to the Auburn connector up there. And you know, having community members and generosity like that is really, we're very, very fortunate in this county and in this state to have people like Eugene, so thank you. All right, I think I got everyone. If I didn't, I will jump in and say, oh, I forgot. So now we're going to move on, and first you're going to hear a little bit about the history of this bridge from Mike Szilagyi, and then Tim Fenchel is going to talk about phase 1, which was the environmental reclamation of the Porter property. And then Julia is going to tell you a little bit about this bridge, phase 2, building this, and then phase 3. So without further ado, Mike Szilagyi.
Thanks, Elaine. One of the great things, and there are many, about being on a bike or on foot is it gets us into places we wouldn't ordinarily see if we're in a car. And if we're in a car, you can do a windshield survey and you get a glimpse of things. But on a bike or walking, you can really notice stuff and wonder about it. And this bridge is going to be something we're already wondering what the deal is with the history of this. The first transportation in this area would have been the Lenape people's footpaths that crisscrossed this whole area for thousands of years. The second thing that came through here was the Schuylkill navigation. The cross-cut canal actually started at Lock 23, just out of sight here. It's on private property, so don't try to go there. And it wrapped around this hill here. And that was in 1825 that opened. The Reading Railroad wasn't even here yet. So the Reading, that bridge there, which we call the Chutes, came in 1842. That was the first railroad line. And it took some of the business away from the canal, but that's progress. This here wasn't built until 1886. This was the Pennsylvania Railroad who wanted to compete directly with the Reading. So they built this line at great expense up the Schuylkill Valley. And I saw the amount of money they spent, and I put it through an inflation calculator. They spent the equivalent of $350 million building this line. We have aerial photos from the 1930s of this area, and people who grew up around here call this the flats, or the coal flats, because all the floodplain was full of coal silt. So just downstream from here was a processing plant where dredges would pull the incredible amount of coal dust out of the river and put it on boxcars. That was on the Porter's property now. So fast forward to the 1990s, Conrail has all the railroads, and the redundant railroads don't make any sense. So the Reading they kept, and the Pennsy, which paralleled it, went up for sale. And active railroads had first dibs, that makes sense. But pieces were bought up here and there. The Greenway bought long stretches of the Pennsy, and we have trail on that. And here, the county bought stretches, which is fantastic because it preserves it for transportation use, recreation use. The next step has to do with the reclamation of the mine lands around here, and that's Tim's domain. So I'm going to turn it over to Tim.
Thanks, Mike.
So the Schuylkill River Greenways manages and administers a grant program called the Schuylkill River Restoration Fund, and it takes both private and public resources and funds and re-grants it for watershed-wide restoration projects from Philadelphia all the way up to the headwaters here in Schuylkill County. We fund abandoned mine drainage projects, stormwater projects, agricultural projects in Berks County. This program has been in existence since about 2006. If anybody here knows Bill Reichert, as many of you do, I'm convinced at this point that Bill Reichert knows where every ounce of coal refuse exists in Schuylkill County. And so his organization, the Schuylkill Headwaters, has received numerous grants through this grant program. And he came to us and applied to the program for this project that Mike just discussed, where all this coal refuse sits right up here on this little thumb of property. The river actually makes a pretty big bend here, and there's a thumb up here that's on the Porter project, on the Porter property, and there's a lot of coal there. And there was a natural berm that was built around that. That berm got breached during some heavy water storms, and so now that coal silt is re-entering the river. And so Bill received funding through us and through other grant resources to extract all of that coal refuse out of this property. And that was also what Elaine hinted at, is the federal funds that came through BAMR needed to be connected not only to a restoration project, but to an economic development project, and that was the trail piece. So both of these projects came together, and Bill wrote and received the grant for $2 million for all of these things. So basically this property up here, Bill and that team removed over 120,000 cubic yards of coal refuse. There are some great pictures up here. You can't even believe your eyes. If you come and look at these pictures, don't even do justice. Some places 18 or 20 feet deep of coal refuse on this property that was all removed. This project was completed about a year ago, I want to say. 2,000 native trees and shrubs were planted on the property. Warm season grasses were planted. If you were to walk down there now, this is what that back part of the Porter property would look like. It's absolutely spectacular. And so that was phase one of this, was completing the restoration piece. And so next time you see Bill Reichert, thank him for all of his work and hard work and dedication and knowledge that he puts into recognizing and understanding and implementing these projects. So then phase two and phase three, I'm going to turn over to Julia, and she'll give us an update on the trail project.
You gotta help me.
Great job. Oh, you need help?
Help me hold this banner. All right. So Elaine mentioned, thank you. I'll get in front. Thank you very much. Elaine mentioned that there are 3 phases to this project. The first phase, the work that was associated most directly with the floodplain project, and that cost about, the part that affects us, cost about $700,000. And what that is was access roads and the initial trail grading where the trail's ultimately going to be, as well as fixing up the trail between River Road and Auburn, which we've been long awaiting. So that part of the project was all phase 1. Phase 2, you're standing on. Phase 2 cost about $730,000. Lycoming engineers did it. Lycoming Supply Company did the work. They did a beautiful job. And this was an interesting project because this bridge is, of course, historic. Mike told us it was 1886 when this railroad came through here. So we weren't sure when we started this project what kind of shape the bridge was going to be and what we were going to deal with. It turned out really well. We now have $40,000 worth of very expensive new rivets that brought us back up to where we needed to be. But other than that, it's in great shape. It's holding up. Phase 2, so that's done. So phase 3 then is going to be linking the bridge where you're standing. Oh, thank you.
Where do you
I gotta be in front.
You're in front.
The bridge, we're standing right here.
Yep.
So phase 3 is going to continue down here, make a turn. That's going to look just like what you're standing on, that sort of surface. Then there's going to be a ramp that comes down from this turn all the way down to meet the newly graded ground that was done in phase 1. So this section of the bridge is going to look different than what you're standing on now. The section of the bridge here is going to look similar to what you're standing on. And then starting here, we're going to have 4 truss bridges connected. It's going to bring people down to get onto the on-grade trail. Now, this engineering work was done by Wilson Consulting Group, and is Bill Wilson here?
I think so, yeah.
That's Bill Wilson, who's the lead engineer. And his baby is here, but she had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Okay, now I just want to make sure everybody knows, you're all bikers, you probably know where we are. But what's important about this project is it's closing the Auburn Gap. So the Auburn Gap is where the trail gets interrupted between Berks County and Schuylkill County. So we really want to bring the trail itself, the economic development that comes with the trail, and the recreation opportunities from Berks County into Schuylkill County and further up. We're doing some other projects I'll mention. So what you're doing here is if you're coming from River Road, I have to get my directions straight. River Road, where's River Road? Thank you. I turned around. If you're coming from River Road, you would then cut into, this is where the ramp is. You come across, this is the on-grade trail, you'd come across the ramp, cross this bridge, and then you'd head down to Kernsville parking, where many of you parked. So once that's all complete, you'll be able to go from State Road Trailhead in Hamburg up through the top of Hamburg to Kernsville, to where you all parked, and then up through here, across this bridge, down to River Road. We'll have a short on-road piece, but River Road is very quiet. It'll be lovely. And then you'll hook up with what we were calling the Auburn section of the trail, which is has been closed for a long time, unfortunately, because we've been bringing big trucks in and out to help with this project, and it is now open again. We've been able to rough grade it, get the grading down so people can use that safely, and that'll be open again. It doesn't have the fine cinders topping yet, but it will get that soon. Great, thank you. And this banner we're going to hang at the far end of the bridge, at the end of our gathering here, so that when people come by and go, why doesn't this bridge go any further, they can read the banner and not call me. So I just wanted to show you some before and after photos. Thank you. This is what the bridge looked like before we started. That would actually be standing right there, looking this way. And then here we are now. And this is just a piece of showing some of the areas we had to go over, deck over, to create the trail. Thank you.
Sure.
So we're very excited. So I mentioned that phase 1 was about 700,000. Phase 2 was 730,000. Phase 3 is going to be a little over $2 million. Right. I'll need $2 million, by the way.
Lauren, $2 million?
$2 million. Okay. Now, when this bridge was finished, which was recently, they were not able to do all of the inspections. I mean, they'll get to them. So they asked us to do the final inspection today, and I need your help with that. What we're going to do is we're going to count to 3. We're all going to jump up and down. And jump up and down and see if the bridge stays up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we passed inspection.
Wow, it didn't even move.
We're now open. We're doing a lot of work up here in Schuylkill County. One project I wanted to share that we're working on is what we're calling the Mill Creek section. And if you're familiar with where St. Clair goes up and meets the Coal Creek Plaza, what we're going to do is the trail is going to begin on the southern tip of St. Clair, go on road through St. Clair so you can get a drink, stop at a restaurant. Then it's going to come up through the Coal Creek Plaza property. The Reading Anthracite and Coal Creek Plaza companies, which are owned by the Rich family, have been incredibly generous and are giving us easements to bring the trail up through their property and then to connect north of there back to the old railroad grade. So then we'll connect north of the shopping center. We'll connect right there, and then we'll keep going up to, if you know where the SCMA building is at Deepwater, Darkwater?
Darkwater.
Darkwater, thank you. We'll be going up there, and then further up until SCMA's corridor ends. Now, where that ends is about a mile from where the trail will eventually end. And although we don't have that planned out yet, that's state land, we'll get it. And then we'll be in Frackville. So from State Street up into Auburn is about 9.5 miles. So you'll be able to do an 18-mile trip, 19-mile trip, just doing that round trip.
Excellent.
Another project I just wanted to mention briefly was that the trail you rode in on is a little beat up. We've had some erosion issues, we've had some drainage issues, and we're getting ready to fix all of those. We've got a construction company on board, and we're figuring out the details of that now. That will not cost $2 million, so that's good. And they'll be out soon. You'll notice, like where we meet the Appalachian Trail, there's it erodes off before you get to the edge of the trail, so we're going to get that fixed. There's a couple spots like that. So look for that soon. That'll be happening soon. All right.
Julia, time frame for phase 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phase 3 is going to go out to bid this fall. Right, Mike? Where is Bill? Phase 3 is going to go out to bid, right?
He's looking around.
Phase 3 is going to go out to bid this fall, probably later this fall. We're still crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And then we're hoping to have the contracts in place at the beginning of the new year and the project built before this time next year.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, a couple more things. I want to tell you about two other events, things that we have going on in Schuylkill County. One is the Tumbling Run parking lot and the 61 trail. We are improving the trail and putting in a serviceable parking lot there. And I have to give a shout out to our Senator Dave Argall, who got us the funding for that. We went to Dave and said, we really, really need this, and we don't have a funding source, and he scratched and clawed and got us the money we need to do that. So thank you. And we also, this year, every year we have an art show that we usually do in Montgomery County. This year we are doing it in Schuylkill County at the Walk-In Art Center. The art it's a curated art show, and it'll be on exhibition from October 15th to November 13th. And there is a reception on November 10th at, a nice, wine and cheese reception for our members. Which reminds me to let you all know that if you are not a member of Schuylkill River Greenways, it is so easy to become a member and support us all year long. You just get on our website and it says become a member, click, it's very easy. And if you do that, you will be invited to this lovely reception in Schuylkill County at the Walk-In Art Center. So I know you'll all go home and do that if you aren't members already. That is it for our program. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask our trail experts or our history expert or any of that?
One question.
Yes.
The photo right beside Gary's head, that is taken from upstream looking to this bridge? Is that what
That's
that
correct,
is?
yep.
Yeah.
So that's the area that was that pocket of land that was
Yep.
all taken out.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Is it your drone?
Tim,
What's the question?
where was the coal taken to?
To Reading Anthracite, I believe, that was reusing it.
Stouts Ferry.
Stouts Ferry,
Stouts
thank
Ferry.
you.
Stouts Ferry is broken apart and part of it's used to make tires out of it.
Oh, wow.
It's being recycled.
Great.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Any other questions? All right, so now we are going to have a ceremonial hanging of the banner. And if we could have Senator Argall and our commissioners, our DCNR friends, and our board members head to the end, and you are going to be in a photo op to hang our banner.
All right, go for it, guys.
We need the zip ties. Actually. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know. It's not. It's definitely thick. He's funny. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We have some of you handsome gentlemen hold this up for us. Should we put it up upside down?
Let's put it right side up.
So let's get a picture of them and then we'll put it on. Where's Senator Argall?
How about the board members? Come on, we can make this. Come on, we can tighten this up.
All right, everybody. We got the,
Excellent. Please, get in it.
all right, everybody come
Come on.
on
Let's move
over
forward.
here.
Yeah, come on.
And then we'll put people
Go on behind. Yep.
You've done this before.
only once.
You guys come on in, board members.
2 weeks ago.
We need a crowd here. We need a crowd. Oh, we got a couple more board members.
I was trying to wait for everybody to get in. Okay, there we go.
Right away again.
All right, yeah, that's a good crowd. I love it.
Elaine,
I'm good.
please, no, please get in it.
Totally good. I think maybe Mandy and I are moving just a little bit.
You know what? How about we get Jeannie Porter in?
Yes.
Yeah, Jeannie.
I'm taking
Jeannie.
You can do both.
No, I don't. Honestly.
But even with those boots, I
Well,
mean, you know.
I came here a different way. I trudged through some stuff.
Stuff.
We don't hear you.
Yeah.
We don't.
I got permission permission to go through. I don't know why this says it's
Because it wants you to be in it.
I know it wants me to use it, and then
Let me
you're
just
in
take
it.
one with you. Let me take one with
Just your camera, Jeannie. Get one with you in it.
Yeah, you have to be in it, Jeannie.
There we go. You're doing something. First I was doing it.
Okay, now let me take one with you in it.
Jeannie, get in here.
We literally could not have done this without you. You know?
Well, I'll hide that.
Right here, right here.
All right, ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3, cheese! Schuylkill County. All right, awesome.
We can even spell it.
And say it.
Yeah, well,
And say it. Thank you.
Okay, now
Elaine.
you want this? You want the ties up?
Hey,
Can you send a picture to me to send it to my cell number?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm going to because then we shoot them off to DC and Congress.
you might be okay.
Board members, why don't you guys be the ones to put this up?
Ready to get the time.
you don't have to say it.
Get the board members up here.
If it falls down.
What other board members are here?
Iris here. Bob's here.
John Wolf.
Is John here?
John's right there.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking beyond you.
Okay, a little to the right.
Over here?
Yep, a little more.
Here, John, get in
Down a
there.
little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll take a tall one so Mary
Okay, no, you get in
All
here.
right,
Get in
okay.
here.
So you want one up here?
Well, why don't you take one of the short ones, Mary, so you don't have to reach so high.
All right, get over here. I get out of the way then. There's one in there already. See the ties up there? Okay,
I'll wait till you
good.
get yours in, Mary, and then I'll switch
What I want to do is bend the end a little bit. Bend the end a little bit first, like that.
I know. It's okay.
Put a little bend on it like that.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Thank you.
This is handyman's best friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, good job.
I know.
Mary won it.
We weren't racing.
We were.
We were?
We were racing.
Oh, okay, John.
It's opposite. Opposite way.
This is
Sorry,
so
it's
great.
opposite. We'll tighten up. Okay. You got it. Okay. You got it.
Carl, everybody look this way then. After Ira gets done.
Yeah, Iris got a.
We still need a corner there.
We'll get it.
Rob, speak well to the
organization. It takes 4 board members to put it.
Rob, did
There
you
we
do
go.
one? We have a corner here.
Here we go.
Go Schuylkill County.
Amen. Give us a thumbs up.
Guys, look at me for a little bit.
How about Mandy? Where's Mandy?
Mandy, get in it. Come on.
There's two more. There's two more.
There you
I
go.
feel like I have like a pile of stuff on me. Like I came.
Since you're going to be in
Took
the
a ride
center,
up here, but I think I was
Mandy,
actually.
you have to be
making it.
double thumbs up.
Oh, I have to actually.
There you go. We got one right there for you.
It's a good thing I have experience hanging these thumbs.
There you go.
You'll be the fastest. You would have won. This is a great sign. This is really good. Because people ask me all the time, why
The other way.
Thumbs up, guys. Double, Mandy, double thumbs up. Right in the middle.
I'll go over here.
There we go. Nice. Hold it, hold it. One more. Go ahead. Right now, come right in. Come out of your way. Go ahead. Give him a thumbs up. Come on.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yahoo!
Cupcakes, you want water? So help yourself. It's lunchtime.
I buy them by the bushel.
It's all of our board members. Yeah, it's all SRG board members.